one even going?
Hello, is this? Oh, I got one too.
Yeah.
Anin nindoy maganatak. Benesi kwenajinakas makwando deam. Kababani kagish kanaganing and dunjaba migwich. Thank you all my relatives for coming out here to our sacred river. Our sacred river, the Shell River here that comes from the heartland of our territory, from the White Earth Reservation territory. And we're really honored that you all joined us here. We're really especially honored that our relatives from the West, who know quite a bit about shellfish, have come to visit us. Because we are people that are living on a river that is full of these shellfish, and someone needs to protect them. So how great that you have come with this great teaching with you. And I wanted to introduce some of them, and then I was going to ask, they have a couple speakers, and I was going to ask the board chair of Honor the Earth to say a few words too about this, and then we'll start with that though. So, are you ready? Say something. So, I'm going to introduce our relatives from the West, and I think you have a few speakers, Mr. James, too. Huh? And this is the Carver, one of the Carvers. So, it's one of the Carvers here. Miigwech.
Si nostalgia si sitki kedam sanasnat. Yeah, my relatives are from the Laktamish people, and we are from the Lummi Nation. On my father's side, my grandfather's side, we go back to Chief Seath's line. We come off of his sister's line to Telequal, and on my mother's side, we go back to the seven sons of the House of Statithalam from the Olympic Peninsula. Chief Statithalam the Younger married Princess Nanaimo, Chief Nanaimo's daughter. So that's off my mother's line on that side. So anyway, I would like to thank each and every one of you for allowing us to come and share a breath of time with you. And it's only a breath of time that we're allowed here upon this earth, and how we take care and how we take care of that breath of time that we're allowed, is measured with a dash upon our headstone. We have our birth date and our death date, and in between we live a dash. Time goes by so quickly. And so we're here to ask that we can all come together with one heart and one mind. Eidschwallowen. Eidschwallowen was given to us by a minke whale that laid down her life upon our beaches. And as she was dying, laying there dying, we heard her sing this song. And in this song that we captured, it was called the Eidschwallowen. And she was telling us to be of one heart and one mind. And that was back in the late 90s when that all took place. So we've been on many journeys. This whole journey thing started back in 9/11. And we carved our first pole and took it to New York. As we were going across country, was using that song to call people to come together and pray together. We're asking them to come and put your hand upon that pole and send a prayer across this country for those that perished and those that were left behind. Let your cry go here. And when we got halfway across the United States, they started coming from 2 states below us and 2 states above us just to come and put their hand on that pole and send their prayer across country. So that was called the Healing Pole Journey. And so for 20 years we've been doing this. The second year we did another one for Flight 93 up in Shanksville, Pennsylvania there. The third year, we did a 3-piece pole for the Pentagon and stood that one in the Congressional Cemetery. You know, and it's not what we were doing, it's what the Creator was doing. You know, He's the one that put us upon these paths to stand up against the pipelines and the coal trains and just one thing after another. We went against the fracking up there. My brother carved another pole for the tar sands because all their land was being polluted up there. You know, strip mines was another one, you know, but it's not us, you know. We're just an instrument that God, the Creator, is using to rewrite history, you know, and we're grateful to be here today with the ancestors that walked this earth before you, to come and mix our tracks with the old ones here and with all of you, and to stand in unity with you for what you guys been going through here, you know. And so it's again, it's that Eitschwallowing, you know, to come together as one heart and one mind. And there's a song that we'll share after a while here, you know, that is that Eitschwallowing song, you know. And so we've I want to lift up my brother Susiath at this time. For 20 years, we've been upon these trails, and this year we're really missing him. He's going through some issues, health issues right now, and it's very touchy. So, you know, if you got a prayer in your heart, you know, please lift him up. You know, the prayer knows no distance. It can cross this universe. It can go anywhere, you know, and the Creator can reach out and touch him in a heartbeat. So I'm lifting him up tonight, you know, and just asking that the Creator be with him and watch over him and strengthen him mentally, physically, and spiritually. So the totem pole, it's a Shawam pole. It's a story pole that, and it's a spiritual pole that, as we were crossing this country from the San Juan Islands and all across this country, we've been receiving messages. On the San Juan Islands, we had an elder come up and told us that the spirit that was in this pole was telling her it's a male tree, and it's a male spirit that's in this pole, and that it's watching over the symbols of the women that's upon this pole, of the lost, of the Indigenous women that disappeared. On the moon, we have an Indian sitting there cross-legged with his head bowed. And when you look at the full moon tonight, you'll see an image of the shadows with 2 feathers hanging off his head. And he's in prayer. And he's asking the Creator to please save Mother Earth for the children. And that's what we're all about here, you know. Our voices got to be heard across this country for the climate change, you know, because, you know, we like to say when we're long gone in dust, what's going to be left for the next 7 generations? What are they going to have if we don't speak up now and try to do what we can to turn it around? There was a Hopi legend was that they were saying, if we don't try to come together and make a difference, they're saying Mother Earth is going to shake us off like a dog shaking off the fleas. You know, that the Earth can go on without us. She doesn't need us, you know. But he says that there is still time to turn it around. But we're going to have to do it in unity. We're going to have to come together with one heart and one mind and send the prayers across this country to our leaders, you know, that we can at least leave something behind for the next 7 generations. You know, we're fighting to save the salmon. The eagle, you know, was another inspiration my brother received. You know, we have the native design of the salmon here, the salmon head, and the eagle was to carry the prayers. He carries the prayers to the highest elements up to heavens, and he can see the furthest, the past, present, and the future. But he's also a symbolic symbol all across Indian country, you know, and so we put him on there for that very reason. Here is a salmon design, a Chinook salmon, and it's really important because, you know, the Chinook salmon are also starting to become fewer and fewer. The design here that we have here is what we call the sea wolf. And the reason that we got a wolf head on this one here is because the orcas, they hunt in packs. They hunt like sea wolves, like wolves, you know. They're very intelligent, and they know how to work together and how they can round up their food to where everybody gets something, you know. So and these are the ones that we call our Quahalmachtan, the people that live under the seas. The Quahalmachtan are not ignorant. They are very family orientated. They stay together from the time they're born. They stay with their families. And back in the early 70s, 69 to 74, there was about 40 babies that were taken out of the San Juan Islands and sold into captivity for the seaquariums to make that almighty dollar. They can't get enough of it. And so it was kind of symbolic the way that they were taken away from their families, like our children were taken away from their families years ago and put into them schools. Their whole way of life, her whole way of life, Scally Chuck the knot down there in the aquarium. We, our late chief sent a new name down there with us with Salkada, Fred Lane and I, you know, and he says, put this name on her. And so he renamed her Scally Chuck the knot. She's not a showgirl anymore, not a Lolita. Is a showgirl's name. And so we're trying to get our relative released. We're trying to bring her back home. And she's been crying out, wanting to go home. And she's been putting the message out since the time we came across country with the pole that we brought to Standing Rock is when we first heard about her. And then we realized it was one of our orcas. And it came from one of our pod out in the San Juan Islands. And so we've been struggling trying to get her back home ever since. So these are the ones why this pole is carved also for those that don't have a voice. It's up to us to speak up for those that don't have the voice, you know, and she's crying out and wanting to go home. Over and over, when we were coming across from Palm Springs there, we got a message from an elder that just got out of the hospital, and he was telling us his wife was over there at the aquarium the week before. And that orca came up to her and was talking to her, and telling her how she wanted to go home. She kind of didn't know how to receive what she was hearing. So she went down the spiral staircase and came in alongside the tank down there, and she said that orca came right to her down there underneath on the glass down there and continued to talk to her. So these mammals are capable of reaching out to us. When they're in dire straits and crying out, it's up to us to do what we can to at least allow her to go home and spend the last of her days with her family. The guy that is running this aquarium down there says, well, if she leaves here, she'll probably just die. Well, so what? What did you do with Hugo when he died? You threw him in the garbage dump. At least allow her the right to go back home and die with their family so they can be with her. You know, that's her God-given right. So on the other side, we have another salmon over there too. And we stopped at the Snake River dams, and we were protesting there, saying to breach the dams and allow the salmon to get upriver to their native spawning beds where the water runs cold yet, and they have them to lay their babies up there. Every one of their babies that are died are laid below that dam. That water's so warm that they just die off. And slowly, the Chinook salmon and all the other salmons are going into extinction if we can't get them to breach them dams and allow them to get back up that river. So up here, we have or on the other side, there's a sea bear. And when we carved these poles, we carved, my brother and I, we carved the wolf, and then we carved the bear on the other side. And then we get the question as well, where's the orca? Where's he at on the pole? So we put this fin on, and that's who he is. He's going into transition. We put a fin on the bear over there because my brother looked into the Haida legends there, and he found a legend about a sea bear. And so therefore justifying why we have the bear on the pole up there in transition. Here is a copper plate design here that my brother Susiath put on there in recognition of all our relatives north of the Canadian border. And for those that are up in Alaska, because this copper design was a status symbol, and only the high chiefs and the high status people were allowed to have that copper symbol. And so on the other side again too, there in this area here on the other side, there was a dream my brother had about a dancing eagle feather. And he told me the next day when he had that dream, he says, yeah, he says, I was riding in this truck with our cousin, and the wind came up, and he said this feather came right up to my window and was dancing right there in front of my window, you know. And he said, our cousin says, roll your window down, grab it, take its power, take its power. And he said, we tried to get our window down, and it wouldn't go down. And I was telling him, you know, I said, brother, you know, I says, it wasn't meant for you to have that power. It was meant for you just to see the feather. And so as we journeyed across country, we got to Yakima, and we picked up a little more information about the dancing eagle feather. And we got to Salado Falls and found out that there was an elder that passed on. This elder's name was David So Happy, and he had the power of the dancing eagle feathers, and it originated in the Salado Falls area. And they said when that gentleman sang his song, he would lay his feathers down, and when he started to sing, these feathers stood up and they started dancing by themselves all the time he was singing. And he was twirling. He said he twirled so fast you couldn't even hardly see his feet move. And when he was done singing, the feathers laid back down. So he had that power. My brother, you know what, he carried 3 feathers in his drum, and he didn't know why I was carrying these 3 feathers, he said, you know, but there must be a reason. And that's when we found out about David So Happy and that dancing eagle feathers. You know, so that these visions that he received were verified. This pole, it was spiritually done, you know, because each figure that's on here was spiritually inspired. There was nothing pre-drawn to this pole. When we started carving from the top, everything just kind of flowed right together. And so that's why he's calling it a story pole. And so with that, I'm going to allow my Stalis Siamawit to go ahead and explain about the women.
Nounsiam. My name is Siamawit, and I came prepared. So I'll start off with introducing myself. My name is Siamawit Laktamish Exlemison. I am from the Lummi Nation. I am Laktamish. I am married to Sitka Kadam, and I am one of the artists of the House of Tears Carvers. On this totem pole is grandmother. First of all, I want to honor the grandmothers and the honored Siam, the honored women here. Grandmother is a medicine woman. She is a prayer woman. She is peyote woman. She prays using a rattle. Here she is praying for her grandson, who is incarcerated at the U.S.-Mexico border. The House of Tears Carvers recognize these 33,000 children detained at the border who are separated from their parents as our relatives. Our relationships are defined by our relationship to Mother Earth through our medicine, food, language, and customs. Our ancestors were politically divided without consideration of how our ancestors had interdependency on each other. All those families wanted when coming to the United States was to live with relatives without fear of war. Are we the kind of country who goes to war against children? Grandmother also has a granddaughter. Granddaughter is learning traditional songs from grandmother, who is raising her. The reason granddaughter doesn't live with her mother is because mother was abused and had to leave. Grandmother has her hand painted red in remembrance of her daughter. According to Pueblo Action Alliance research from the Navajo Nation, which I want to interject as young people, young leaders, and the National Congress of American Indians, that Native women are murdered at 10 times the national average. 1 out of 3 Native women will be raped in her lifetime. 4 out of 5 women will be physically assaulted. 88% of the perpetrators are non-Indian and are not prosecuted by tribal governments. Tribes are both sovereign, which means they are independent governments, and also dependent on the U.S. government since the Major Crimes Act of 1855, which took tribal court practices and authority away from natives. Public Law 280 in 1953 is when federal law took away partial jurisdiction of criminal and some civil cases and gave this authority to the state courts. Indian Civil Rights Act of 1968 continues to allow federal courts to intervene in tribal courts. Tribes cannot prosecute violent crimes for more than $5,000 in fines and are 1 year in jail. This process is for only tribal citizens. Non-natives cannot be prosecuted in tribal courts. The violent crimes on reservations continue to be overseen by the U.S. government. When we speak of missing and murdered Indigenous women, we are talking about over 5,500 Indigenous women and girls who have vanished from their families, are dead by acts of violence per year. This is not new information in Indian country. Laws are slowly improving to protect Native women. The Tribal Law and Order Act of 2010 gives sentence increase from 1 year to 3 years maximum of 9 years. However, justice is not possible if there happens to be 4 or more series of criminal acts. Tribal courts are the court of record. Judges and defense counsel must meet certain requirements. Tribal laws are made publicly available, and prosecuted inmates should be housed at federal expense and not tribal. These laws provide improvements, but clearly are not strong enough. Non-Native perpetrators know that tribal laws are weak and target Native women because of this broken system. In 2018, there are 5,712 reported MMIW. Most transferred to state as cold cases and were dismissed. There were only 116 registered into the Department of Justice database. When will the other 5,586 women and their families have their day in court? Tribal courts need full authority to prosecute tribal and non-tribal sex offenders, rapists, murderers on their lands, and set their own fair fines and penalties. We are calling for a full all-offense fix. 70% of the Native sisters live in urban settings. Who is protecting them? I believe in most cases of violence against Native women, those are not reported because those women know that they will not have a fair day in court. I want to thank Secretary Deb Haaland for dedicating her work to protection of sacred lands and to the MMIW advocacy movement. She understands these women and girls are loved. They are not forgotten. They are not invisible. They are our sisters. Thank you, Secretary Haaland, and all others in unity for your advocacy and willingness to speak up for those who have been silenced. Please hold all Native women as sacred. Red is the color of remembrance for Native women. Red is the color of her blood. Please continue to choose to hold these women sacred in your hearts. Truth be told, chances are, if you are speaking to an Indigenous woman, you are speaking to a survivor. Now back to granddaughter. There are 7 teardrops on the swam pole that represent the 7 generations going back and forward, 500 years. Granddaughter uses a teardrop as a rattle to sing grandmother's healing songs so that she could learn the medicine she needs to survive. She is in the rain, which nourishes the rivers. The rivers then nourish us all. Granddaughter is learning how she is not only responsible for healing the trauma from within, but also for healing Mother Earth. She is praying for the rivers, which are the bloodlines of Mother Earth. If we all pray for the rights of grandmothers to hunt and gather her medicines, teach her grandchildren to pray, and heal in their ancestral ways, we will all benefit. The House of Tears Carvers are delivering this totem pole to the United States of America's 46th administration because we want the federal government to honor the treaties and recognize that Indigenous peoples have always been the best stewards of the land because we have always loved her. She is our mother who gives us life. Our mother is abused. We must recognize we are all related rather than divided. Whether you consider us your relative or not, Mother Earth realizes when we don't love her, she will leave us and fend for ourselves. Trust in the Indigenous way of life, especially trust in our prayers. Indigenous spirituality is in many ways a ceremony to keep all things in creation sacred. Brothers and sisters, we must now set aside all political racism and realize red, yellow, black, or white. We must all cherish and care for the land, air, plants, animals, and elements. Find understanding as all of these things are connected. Haishka.
Awesome.
You'll see the divots here, and these are symbolic to raindrops. The symbolic water that the rain comes down and flows all to one source. This is the water of life on the bottom of this pole. If we lose this, everything that exists above this disappears. This is what we're all about. This is what we got to pass down to our children. We got to make sure that they have clean water to drink. This water of life is real. This is our bloodline and our source that flows through us. Without it, nothing will grow. So I just wanted to put that out there, you know, why that was there. And so I'm going to turn it over to Salkadab. Salkadab.
How about a round of applause for Uncle Sidki Kadam and Siam Moet? Hey Siam, Siaya. Now Siam Nastalacha. So he look when it's not tacho, Tikaya Siam Nastalacha. Salkadab, son of snap. True, my heart is glad to be here with each and every one of you. I want to raise my hands to the ancestors Siam, that have been here since time immemorial. The ancestors of these lands and of all the lands that we traveled through. Just want to acknowledge you and recognize, thanking the drum, thanking the singers and the song and the spirit, thanking the horse riders. Give them a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Our drum group and our horse riders is my Indian name, Salkadab. My Christian name's Freddie Lane. I'm the 11th child of the late Vernon and Nancy Lane, both of Lummi. I'm a former tribal council leader for Lummi. I was very proud to serve the nation, just as many of the tribal leaders that are in recovery. That's a joke. You're supposed to laugh. But, you know, true story on, okay, before I begin, because we're all in this together, I hope everyone's vaccinated, because we're a stronger nation with vaccination, but we're all in this together. Everyone's circled around, and I want to take this sacred moment and have each of you turn to the person next to you and take a few moments to introduce yourself, because we're all relatives, every single one of you. So I just want to take this moment for you and recognizing you and all your friends and allies in this fight together. So ACM, please introduce yourself to the person next to you. ACM. ACM, all right. Break it up, break it up. Teresa, Melanie, Duran, Judith, and the whole team. Crystal, come on up. Shelly, I want everyone to see all our security. Please come up at this time. We want to keep it short. I got to do this because I want to recognize Carrie, Alex, Dr. Russo. Where you at? I know you're hiding in the back. But Melanie, she's been working on the mural. It's been a national mural. It's been just an awesome mural in the back there. I hope we're leaving it this evening and painting late into the night. And my partner Duran here, Teresa Sheldon, I'm going to give her a few moments. We're the architects of, we're the cornerstone of this vision and what we thought about 3 years ago when we was doing Native Vote. But I just wanted to bring up, come on up, security. Don't be bashful. I will call you out. But everybody that's on the journey, come on up, please. I just want to recognize because we're the three Clactamish right here, Uncle and Siamawit. We're the three Clactamish, so we're the three Lummi citizens. And we're the Iron Five, Melanie, my partner Duran, Siamawit, Uncle Sitka Kadam. I say Iron Five because at times on the journey across the nation, it was just, some of us had to go home, the kids had to go home, but we carried on with the work. And the work, began with for those of you that are young people, don't forget to dream. Don't forget to dream. Don't forget to dream. Because ever since I was 18 years old, this is something that I hoped I would be a part of. And it's not me. It's all of us in this sacred moment, in this sacred land, doing this sacred work. And it's spiritual work. And those of you that are spiritual people know that many of us aren't perfect. I want any perfect people in the room? A little bit right here, 1 and 2 in the back. All right. Hey, a couple of elders down in the front. She doesn't. Give them a round of applause. Hey. But this is none of these ceremonies have been the same. And to see the horse riders, to feel the love and honor, just to be able to stand here with all our relatives, and we're all family. I remember I used to, really honest to God, where's Winona at? I used to make fun of women leaders. When I was a kid, true story. And you know who changed it for me, Winona? Margaret Thatcher was the prime minister when I was a kid growing up. And I knew that one day that I would see an American Indian, let alone a woman, run for vice president of the United States of America. And so that hope, seeing and witnessing this year with the Honorable Vice President, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, is history. And so this 21st year of the 21st century is such an honorable moment just to look at each of you standing in front of what is about to be presented this Thursday and Friday. And so I'm just really glad to have this moment to share with you. We are all Winona, and to each and every one of you, from the youngest to the old, run for public office, run for city council, run for county council. Call Native Organizers Alliance, Miss Judith right there. They're we're all a powerhouse. And that's where Teresa and I had just the idea if we had a new president and he happened to appoint the first American Indian to the cabinet, that this would be our moment to unite tribes, because tribes need to stop fighting and tribes need to start uniting, period. And so with that, I want Teresa, I know the lunch or dinner is waiting, but I just want to give my friend Teresa a moment to share about her love and the power with Native Organizers Alliance and Judith's awesome team and Illuma Native and Cecily and Natural History Museum. And I said Native Organizers Alliance, right? And Natural History Museum and our security. But we can't do this without the love and honor of each and every one of you. I want a round of applause for Mo and Nikki, are awesome behind the scene. Show them some love. Show them some love. But with that, I also want to call up our Lummi relatives. Where are the Lummi relatives? I know you're sitting here somewhere, Jason. But again, thank you. Love, honor, hope, happiness, healing. Heiska, we have a little bit of work after we're done here, but if nobody told you they love you today, we love you, and we feel the love. We feel the love from the circle here, and to be in this sacred moment is just so honorable. And my spiritual cup is running over, and so thank you.
Yeah, miigwech.
Miigwech. How does this go? Okay. Skabewas Indigenous, Makwa Indo Dame, Abading Madeo, Adawazaga Eganing, Indunjiba Nungum, Minugijigat. So I'm going to keep it real short because you can feel the ground rumbling from a collective stomach rumble. But what I want to do is express our greatest sense of appreciation. What we've heard from the elders today, Grandmother Mary and others, are about how we do things with everything that's around us. What we've heard from the elders from the West Coast of Punkashamug is that within this tree there are living things. And for all the students out here who are beginning to hear some of this stuff for the first time, these are things that some of us have heard all our lives from our elders about when we pray. There are sometimes all kinds of things out there that are praying with us, that are praying for the right things when us pitiful human beings ask for certain things that aren't needed, but something we want. And so those are the words of wisdom from our elders. It's about family. It's about how all of us, I think, when we look into our family trees, can research a history that says that the people from the West Coast have been here before, that when we go to Walla Walla and look at the treaties that were struck in the 1850s, that we see discussions about blueberries and wild rice and buffalo robes and wampum, things that aren't produced on the West Coast. And in my history, we talk about relatives coming all the way from New York, all the way over to Oregon, where there's Wild Bill Morrison Valley, which is a relative of mine, a relative buried across the river here at Shell River, a relative buried on Madeline Island. And we find evidence of peoples from the West Coast having been at the capital of the Ojibwe Nation at Madeline Island. We find 800 or 900 years of presence in this village area here, 1,200 to 2,000 years of presence down at the Shell and the Crow, and at the Line 3 crossing on the Crow, 5,000 to 8,000 years worth of occupancy that goes back to either Cahokia or Edina. Our people have been here before. We've had visitors from both sides of the ocean visit our people over time. Those stories are with us, and we share a lot of things with each other, even if we only go back to the flood that a lot of people talk about. That's in our stories and many other stories. I had someone stand up in a church service and say, "You guys got the flood?" Well, you know, it didn't flood just your half of the earth when it happened. We've had those stories, but in our lodge stories tell us that it's happened at least 2 other times besides those times. So we listen to our elders as much as we can. Some of us, more of us, many of us, all of you. And we take those things a little bit at a time, what certain elders have said, and we try to find the good life. So on behalf of that, living a good life, Mino Bomadazewin, we say Miigwech from the Ojibwe Nation, and from the Ho-Chunk, and from the Menominee, and from the Potawatomi, and from the Dakota, and all the other people who've shared this area for 1,000 years. This isn't the first time your relatives have been here, and it won't be the last. Miigwech. We got one little song we're going to sing, and then you can head back to the camp. I believe that's the end of the program. So we're going to sing you one honor song 4 times through. Okay, I wanted to say about that song. I was just talking about it the other day because it's been in my head. It's probably only been sung about a dozen times, as far as I know. I learned that from an old man named Pipe Mustache, who learned it from his grandfather around 1915 when he was a young man. And he heard it from a man named Junia Gijek, who was his grandfather, who was probably in his late 80s when he taught Pipe Mustache that song. So I sang that in part because I don't hear it anymore, and I want that song to live on. So there's a few more words that need to be said here somewhere. Miigwech.
Sister Winona, come forward. We'd like to, at this time, just take a few moments here. If I can have a young lady come help us with some blankets, that would be great. We'd like to call forward our horses. Our horses. We'd like to line them up, please, right here. And we're going to ask Auntie Winona to blanket them for us, as when I look into a horse's eye, it sees my soul, and that I'm deathly afraid of riding horses. We'll line up this way, facing towards the camera, if you could. And we want to blanket them in a good way. And camera people, please feel free to come on up. Just be mindful of the elder that you might be standing in front of. And just be mindful, cameras, that I keep my distance. But we do this with love and respect, just honoring the horses, and honoring their rider. Was in Hoopa tribe that we came, and Uncle Doug was driving the totem pole, and we were coming into Hoopa territory, and there was this beautiful, amazing whirlwind, and it came across the parking lot. And as we were driving right into Hoopa, right by their sign, and the whirlwind caught the tail end of the totem pole, and then we drove right through the whirlwind. And the reason why I bring this up is because when I seen that, I slowed down behind the totem pole, way down. I slowed way down, and what came to me was all the ancestors coming in on their horses, and they were so powerful coming in that it made this whirlwind in the totem pole, and they were all right following us all the way from Hoopa to Hollywood, California, to Hollywood, Florida, on up through Denver. And so it's just true that when we pulled in today, that it wasn't a coincidence that our relatives here were guiding the totem pole in a very powerful way with the ancestors. And so I just want the young riders to know this, and from the youngest to the oldest, just thanking each of you with gratitude and with love and appreciation for all that you've brought to our welcome here into the territory. And cameras, get ready for the picture after the final relative is blanketed. And if someone can take some pictures for me, thank you. ACM. ACM. How about a big round of applause for our horse riders and the horses? ACM. Thank you. Heiska. Thank you. Heiska. ACM. ACM. Thank you. We just have a few more blankets, and we wanted to just call the grandmothers. Winona, did you have? Oh, okay. Thank you. We can do it with it. Yeah. The women. You want? How many are there?
7.
7. Okay.
That includes me.
And our Shell River sisters, please come up. You can have, or they can. He'll hold them for you. Go ahead. Sure. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. Mary and Flo, you're holding up dinner. I mean, could you please come down to the main floor? Thank you. Nay. Okay, we'll have them just sing anyway. Do you want them to sing? We want them to sing. We're going to cover them just in a good way.
Working hard while we were in jail. We worked very hard when we were in jail on our routine. And there was many, so we were all together in jail, y'all understand that, for a couple nights in Wadena County. I have to say it was not the nicest of the jails, and a couple times they reminded us it wasn't supposed to be nice because it was jail. And so we understood that clearly. And, but we were working on some tunes and such. Preparing for our tour. Some of us went to Aiken County to start the tour. Okay, I don't want this microphone.
All right, here.
Okay, the probes.
All right, ready? As we went down to the river to pray, studying the Anishinaabe ways, and we will love the wild rice, Great Spirit, show us the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down. Let's go shut that pipeline down. Oh, sisters, let's go down, down to the river to pray. Oh, yeah.
There's several other verses, but this is a very good dinner is soon.
Anybody else?
Right, come into yes, we like to. Terry, who would like to?
Terry, could you please come up? He is the park ranger here. Come on up. Hang up here, ladies. Hang up here, ladies. We got to get a group picture right at the end here. So, and he has been very kind to us, and we've been very upset with the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources, which gave away 5 billion gallons of water to Enbridge and also sent a lot of conservation officers to arrest us when we really thought they should be protecting the water and not arresting the water protectors. But I want to say that this man is a representative of what we wanted Department of Natural Resources to do, which is to host citizens and Anishinaabe people in a beautiful campground and take good care of us. So I want to give a great thanks to Terry Holden here for being with us. And he is a really good man. Do you want to make a speech?
I do not.
He said he does not want to make a speech at this time.
I will say Miigwech.
Oh, he said.
I say Miigwech.
Wait, did the wife get the picture? And this is Terry's wife. We have to make sure she gets a picture of him with all of us. Yes, yes. And this is his. Thank you, Terry, very much. And and it is Terry's retirement year, so this is part of his ongoing retirement party we're having for him for his service and taking care of the show. And I want to acknowledge too. Where's my brother Jimmy? Can you come up here? Jimmy has been here for many of our here. This is Jimmy Northrup, and he has been with us for many years as a water protector, and he's a good brother to all of us. And I want to acknowledge him and also blanket him. Good job. Uh-huh. Oh, yes. Speech.
Just not much of a talker. I always try to stay off to the side, just try to do all the things that nobody else wants to do, like that. Kind of like how it is, we all come from that water, we all lived in it like that, and my grandma, and we were all doing those things, like that. That's how we got in this world. So like that way, and just like to say, Buju anin Indigenous cosmos quanaquad makwan and do them beginning and do jaba. Jim Northrop, Jaganashimong, Raymond Gray hair, Jaganashimong. Just like to say a little bit, like that, this real honored to see each and every one of you like that. A lot of us water protectors been out there for a long time, we've been, some of it's been going since Standing Rock, before Standing Rock, like that. And I see my father, stand up, this Enbridge, moving around back home. We live just like a mile from the pipeline on the other side of the lake, a little lake called Big Lake, like that. So just thinking about those things, like how my father would, hear about something and he'd go down there and bother them, tell them, like that. Really, he wasn't bothering them, they were bothering him. That's our wild rice, that's what, that's why we're here, Anishinaabe people. So, and just kind of like watch my father do those things, and we're not, the way I look at it, I'm not an activist. I'm just standing up for this creation, like that, this creation. It's all just the way it is, like that. It's all in harmony. It's all in harmony. We're the ones that are able to step out for ulterior motives, like that. My grandfather, he said, everything you need is only this far in the ground. That's just a little ways. Everything we need is just right here, like that. That's as far as we can go. We're supposed to go. But here, all this is going on, these corporations, the evil, this greed, that way, that's the way it is, and try to live in this world, like that. And it's really hard to do, especially seeing my friends and relatives like that. Then we kind of look at each other like that, I try not to be that way, to look at people and think, kind of like what color you are, like that, how tall you are, like that, those kind of things. I just like to look at people like a spiritual way, like that, then honored to be standing here amongst all these spiritual people, spirit, like that, half spirit, half, just being like that, this gift of life, like that. So I'd say thank you to each and every one of you. This sacrifices that you make every day to stand up for this water, the people, the land, like that. These kind of things are not easy to do in this everyday life, they kind of want to pull you away and live in that greed. There's a lot of things, nowadays you see that somehow it's normal to cut your grass real short like that and then see the ankles on a robin, It's getting weird. It's kind of weird, Dude, that's too much. But here, then, if you look at, kind of like, I think back to my grandma and grandpa, they had food. They had food in their yard, like that. And then they kind of do things in order, and like that, kind of like set the water down, then they set the corn down, then the berries and the meat, and kind of like how they are too, like that. And then they pray with it. And then, so here, that's what they do. But then here, then things are in order. Then I don't want to be talking too much, like that, because what they always say that, like that. At my home, they say that people are losing air, and they say, like that. So I don't want to go that far, but just want to say that, say miigwech to each and every one of you, like that. Chi miigwech, all these, honored to be here. Yeah, aho.
Okay, we got one more brother to call up. I gotta call up Frank Vanderhey. Is that good? And this man come from Oneida Nation out east too, and he's been out there, built all kind of houses for Red Leg, for Migizi. He built all kind of things and drove things all over and just helped us out and roughed it out a lot of times. And so, Frank, I just wanted to thank you for all your hard work. And you came back out because he said, I want to go see the Totem Pole people and all the cool people. So, Miigwech, thanks for coming back. You want to give a little speech, Frank? He said, yeah. Yes, Miigwech. Miigwech to my brother.
Hi, Scott. Last but not certainly least is what we've been doing across the country. And we're going to ask the horses, we're going to clear everybody out of the back. And maybe as we're getting ready, we'll ask our drum relatives to help us with a prayer, as we want everyone lined up in the front. If somebody could help get the elders some chairs, and we got to take our final picture here in our final video for our stop here with our relatives. So if you want to be bashful, you don't have to be in the picture. If you don't want to be in the picture, that's okay. I'll feel bad later. But yes, if we could, we'll have everybody come to the front here. Don't forget to sign our scrapbook too. Please sign our scrapbook. One's for the president and one's for the House of Tears Carvers. So if we can have somebody help maneuver some chairs for the elders to stand in front, we'll ask the photographers to please be mindful. We'll be right in front of and we'll ask the horses our horse riders to come around to the backside and right when we're getting ready there. Yeah, please. Oh, and we'll ask the elders to come start. We'll have you guys go ahead and come around the backside here, right behind the drum. That'd be great. And then we'll move the chairs right as soon as the horses are in the back. Yeah, we'll move. We'll set the picture up here. So, and then we're gonna get ready for our picture. So we're gonna move the chairs back if we can, please. We'll move the chairs back, please. Sorry. We'll move the chairs back, and then some of the junior elders can stand behind. Junior elders and elders in denial, you know who you are. We know you exist, but we just want to recognize you. We'll have the elders. Here you go. Go ahead and move that one up. And then a set of elders. Come on in the front here. And then some of the younger, we could stop. If somebody can help me pick up these posters here real quick. And then we'll get some of the other tribal members. Come line up in the back here if you could. Come line up. We'll get a ladder here. I'm just setting them over there. Just setting them over here so people can stand up here. And we have a banner. The banners, come on, please. Come jump in. Jump in the back. Come on, jump in the picture. Come on in here. You could just file right behind there. Some of the younger tribal members, you feel free to jump up top here. I'm looking for that ladder. You could jump up on top there and be the second row. And yeah, dinner's waiting, so Can we have you guys, come on, some of the youth, stand up in the back. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Jump in the picture here. It's like herding kittens. Meow. Just kidding. Come on in the picture. Come on. Yeah, he's got his mask on. I like the mask. All right. Come stand up behind the wall there. Please fill up the back row. Some of the youth, come fill up the back row. Some of the young people, jump up on the back there where the other ones are. Please fill that up. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. Just kidding. Couple more out. Yep. Okay, last call. Some people can come fill right here. Oh, the youth gonna get up? All right. Kind of getting lost right here. You guys are standing right in front of, is there a chair right there? Oh, yeah, please. Yeah, they can't see the junior elders in the background and the elders in denial. We need to see them too. Cheese? Say cheese, yeah. Yeah, lower the banner a little bit. Okay. Where's my camera at? Oh. Okay. All right, come on over this way. Come on, we can't see you. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Okay, if we can't see your fit, come on over. There you go. All right. Beautiful, beautiful, nice, wonderful. Let's get in. Oh, man, I'm just going to come right here. Come on, Uncle. Come on. What the? Yay. Where's Teresa at? All right, where's Teresa at? Okay, ready? Close-up time, ready? 1, 2, 3. Horses. Horses, all right, ready? 1, 2, 3, ready? 1, 2, 3. Hands in the air. Like you care. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh my God. All right. We will have our. Okay, we're going to do this video while the relatives are playing. From the ancestors to the grandchildren. Where are we at? What was we said a lion earlier? Red Road to DC. We will stop line 3. How's that sound? Okay, Red Road to DC. We will stop line 3. Woo! And scream real loud and no lip syncing either. Okay, let's practice. Okay, ready? All right. Red Road to DC. We will stop line 3 in 3, 2, 1. All right. How about one more? Let's say from we'll have the singers play real lightly in the background because we want to just try something really cool because you know you guys are really cool. And we'll say from the ancestors to the grandchildren, we love you from Shell River or White Earth? Shell River. Woo, okay. Winona, I want to hear you scream too. No lip syncing, Winona, I'm watching you. Okay. From the ancestors to the grandchildren, we love you from Shell River. Minnesota? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. That was so fake. Okay, one more time, real loud together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And Melanie said one more time. Okay, ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3. This was the best. Thank you very much, everybody. Dinner is waiting. I apologize for the delay. Hi, Skasiam.